All right, so I'm not going to play the rap here, but I'll have it posted or we'll listen to it in class. This is the first 95 Theses rap. You might enjoy it. So here's a caricature. Oh, let me just take my picture. There we go. I got to move that out of the way. This is a caricature of Pope Alexander the Sixth. Martin Luther created this in 1545. Hey, Martin Luther the artist. But this is how Martin Luther viewed the Catholic Church and the leadership. So you can see in this image of this caricature of the Pope, he's basically he's showing the Pope to be kind of this animal, very uh, evil type of creature, right? That was is out with talons to take things from you. All right, so what are Luther's teachings? What did he believe? So we're learning a little bit about how he was criticizing the Catholic Church. Well, what is it that he did believe? So, for one, he believed that good works, good actions, are not needed for salvation. That a person could win salvation based on their faith alone, your faith in God. All right, and God would see that you are a good person and allow you into heaven. So so you didn't need to actually do good. You just needed to have strong faith. Church teachings, Luther believed, should be based on the Bible, not on the Pope or church traditions, which could be corrupt or false. So, right here, he's smacking down the church leadership, basically saying this instruction that you're giving people could be either corrupt or false because it's the Pope and the church leaders that are interpreting the Bible. So he's basically saying you should read the Bible yourself. Read it for yourself and interpret it as it is written for yourself. So Luther believed to that end that priests were not needed to interpret the Bible because all people with faith were equals. This map here shows Protestant churches in France in the late 16th century. That means the late 1500s. You can see there's Protestant churches with several pastors. Those are the bigger dots. The little dots are just Protestant churches in general. And the boundary of the Holy Roman Empire, which is typically the Roman Catholics. So in France, I mean, you can see that there's an explosion of Protestant churches by the late 1500s. All right, so what is the response to Luther? So he's shaking things up, right? He sees criticism of the church. He writes his 95 Theses. He posts it on the door in Wittenberg. Clearly, the Catholic Church is going to have a reaction. What is it? So the Catholic Church, in the form of Pope Leo X, he threatens Luther with excommunication if he didn't take back his statements because he's directly attacking church leadership. The Pope is saying, we're going to excommunicate you if you don't take it back. Now, what's excommunication? So write this definition down. All right. Excommunication is the action of officially excluding someone from participation in the sacraments and services of the Christian church. Essentially, excommunication means you're getting kicked out of church. You're no longer a Catholic. That's a big deal back then to say that you've been excommunicated because that means you're going to be shunned by an entire community and you've got nowhere to go for your faith. So this could be bad news for Luther, but of course he doesn't care, right? Because he's basically challenging the church. So instead of taking his statements back, Luther burned the Pope's decree. Woo! All right, go Luther. Yeah, all right. Taking an action there, and he's burning the Pope's decree. Now take that, Pope Leo. So, of course, Leo, offended, naturally, excommunicates Luther, kicks him out of the Catholic Church. But this is going to have repercussions for Martin Luther. So the Holy Roman Emperor, remember on the other side of the border, we had the Pope, we had the Holy Roman Emperor, the political leader, is Charles V. Now, Charles V is Catholic. He summons Luther to the city of Worms. The W is pronounced like a V. Summons him to Worms in 1521, to recant his statements. And recant means to take back his statements. So he's like, come on, Martin Luther, come on over here. You're going to recant, you're going to take it back so we'll put you back into the church. This is bad news. Do it. And Charles then issues what he calls the Edict of Worms. Now, the Edict of Worms basically says this. It declares Luther an outlaw and a heretic, which means that he's speaking out against the teachings of the Bible, and that no one in the Holy Roman Empire was to give him food or shelter. That means he's an outlaw. So, I mean, this could be bad news for anyone who decides to try to protect Martin Luther, because now he's basically an outlaw on the run. Now, Frederick the Wise, Frederick the Wise of Saxony, he shelters Luther, of course, at great peril. And while Luther is being sheltered by Frederick, Luther, of course, what else is he going to do? He decides to translate the New Testament into German. Remember, everything at this time is written in Latin. So to translate this into the vernacular, in this case German, is a big, big deal. Now the Bible is pretty big. The New Testament is pretty big. He translates the whole thing into German. By 1522, Luther returns to Wittenberg, and his followers soon become known as Lutherans. The princes in Germany, such as Frederick the Wise, that supported Luther, they all banded together to protest against those people who were against Luther's ideas. So they become Protestants. They were protesting those who opposed Martin Luther's ideas. They become Protestants. So now we've got this division and this kind of split in Roman Christianity, right? In Roman Catholicism. Now we've got this split of Protestants. Now today, this map is kind of neat. So this map actually shows where religions are today throughout Europe. The blue is Catholicism. The purple is mainly Protestantism. You can see Iceland, Great Britain, northern Germany, or much of Germany, I should say, parts of France a little bit, but also Scandinavia, heavily Protestant. The red is Orthodox Christianity, so that ends up what was formerly known as the Eastern Orthodox Christianity that goes all the way down into the Balkans. The green is Islam. All right, so we can see then how Europe is comprised of religion today. All right, and this also shows you Reformation Europe in the late 1500s and how, if you look at the key on the left, Anglican is the Church of England. That's a Protestant religion. Calvinist is a Protestant religion. Roman Catholic, and then of course Lutheran. So all these different colors, you can see there's this mishmash of religious ideologies all across Europe in the late 1500s. So what's the result? The result is that because of Martin Luther's actions, Christianity today has two main branches in the Western world. There's Catholicism and Protestantism. Now, if you look at this map below, this kind of shows you the progression. After Jesus establishes Christianity in the year 32, whatever, in that first century, early Christians split eventually into three different divisions: Egyptian Coptic Christians, Roman Catholic, and then Eastern Orthodox. The Roman Catholic division splits into Protestants, and that's where you see all the Protestant religions that probably many of you are familiar with. And these aren't all of them, there's a lot more, but these are the main ones. There's Lutherans, Methodist, Presbyterian, Baptists, Evangelicals, Mormons, and the list goes on. All right, there's many. And then we see on the Eastern Orthodox division, there's Greek Orthodox and Russian Orthodox. So all of these denominations are forms of Christianity. Another 95 Theses rap. We'll have to play that in class. All right, so here's your task. Now at the bottom, you've taken all your notes. Identify the reasons that drove Martin Luther to write the 95 Theses and describe the outcome of that action. In detail, complete sentences in your own words, and grammatically correct, please. Ready, set,